So, to explain maybe from the very start, Stars Without Number is normally a sci-fi sandbox role-playing game, which is about usually players play as a members of a crew that travels in a randomly generated sector, and depending on like the campaign idea, they can be like a bunch of misfits, mercenaries that basically try to survive from one mission to another. They can be military folks, and there are like other ideas. And the setting itself is basically that there was a great disaster, a catastrophic event known as the Scream, which basically killed the human.
Oh, uh, where's jet ski? Oh no.
Yeah, he just dropped.
Oh man.
I mean, he dropped
Well,
from Discord, but I still
he
see him
is
on
in
roll
roll
20.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what is the was that the pandemonium? The scream?
Yes, basically the Scream was is the name of an event that basically killed the human interstellar civilization.
No.
It was because the Terran Mandate, which was the uh, like human like empire in the stars, was and now he dropped from 20, was based on
Oh.
psionics. The Scream basically killed most of the psychers, psionic users. Yeah, it killed most of them, it destroyed jump gates, it basically rendered most of the psionic based technology null.
Mm. Hi, here again. I think he is having a connection problem.
Uh, Probably. I'm gonna write in chat.
Mm.
And yeah, basically normal. Yeah, like if you played in usual Stars Without Number campaign, basically most campaigns start a few hundred years after the Scream, when the human civilization tries to rebuild itself from this disaster. Welcome back.
Hello? Yeah, sorry about that. My internet is funky.
It's fine. So yeah, normal. Usually campaigns start, as I said, like a couple hundred years after the Scream happened, and you basically play in like post-apocalypse scenario when the human civilization tries to rebuild itself. This one shot, however, happens in a different time frame. It actually happens, I think, between 200 to 300 years before the Scream, during the what is called in the setting as the Golden Age of the Terran Mandate. And just to reiterate for you, just the Terran Mandate was basically the name of the human interstellar empire civilization. So your characters are actually playing during the time when humanity was the strongest. Their psionic based technology was allowing them to achieve many great things, uh, essentially post scarcity society, uh, immortality treatments. They were able to create true artificial intelligences, through AI, stuff like that. And in this particular scenario, your characters are pilots of mechs, mechanized suits. You are pretty fresh from the academy, and you were sent to this nameless colony slash outpost world that was created recently in the Aindui Lari Omega sector, which is one of the fresh new locations that was found by the Terran Mandate as a sector place that they are interested in colonizing. And basically there is one location, well, it's hard to call it a city, basically on the planet where you are right now. There's like only one settlement which was created from an arc ship or colony ship that landed and basically deployed itself, and humans started building a city around it with prefab components, materials, and they actually managed to create quite a nice, like a fortress city, and with plenty of defenses, because this planet, apart from having a lot of mineral resources, it also has very rich, bountiful fauna and flora. That includes examples of megafauna and megaflora, which basically translates into sometimes having scrapes or fights with pretty damn big animals or carnivorous plants.
Or dinosaurs?
I don't have I am not. I mean, if you want dinosaurs or like animals that resemble dinosaurs, like these versions of words dinosaurs, then sure, it's no problem. It's like at least in this system, I tend not to plan for everything, and I just leave some fragments of the setting up in the air, so just in case players will want to add something or they will ask about something, and then I'm like, sure, if you want that, then that's not a problem. And yes, essentially what you have in the chain of command and supporting cast handouts, basically this is an in-character knowledge, because your characters arrived at this colony about 2 weeks before the present time, so you had time to like socialize with the locals, like get to know at least a few of them. You didn't have opportunity and time to actually talk with everyone, but at the very least you know names and ranks, positions that most of your allies have in the Terran Mandate military that's present on this planet. And I don't know, do you have like any other questions regarding setting, your starting situation? Oh, I might add one more thing, and then you can ask this question. One more thing, basically to explain why you are here. This is like technically, as I said, you are fresh mech pilot, so you technically graduated from the academy, but you still need actual field experience. And it was decided by the higher ups in the military that you will be sent here because on one hand there are some risks and dangers that you can sharpen your teeth on, if I translated the phrase to English correctly. But on the other hand, you should have enough support, and the planet is not at full-on default. So it's like a nice balance that you'll be able to get experience without being in actual like sorry, what I wanted to say, without risking your lives and your equipment. However, Fate will have other ideas. But yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to add for now. So if you have any questions regarding like the starting situation and the setting, then feel free to ask.
Hello? Test?
Yes, hello.
Okay. So, I think I'm for my character. I think I'm gonna try the CQC. You already said it's hard, but I'm just gonna try it. So, at this for the start of the game, we are like fresh from academy and then join this uh what's the English word for that? The squad? Wait, no, the team. Uh,
Team
no,
squad
sorry.
works. I think it. The other term that can also work is mechanized platoon.
Mechanize what?
Platoon.
Got gotten?
Don't stress.
Sorry.
It's fine. Don't stress about it. But you can say squad. You can say team. You can say section. It's fine.
Oh, platoon. Sorry about it. I didn't hear clearly. So, while we are being like some fresh blood around here, what is our purpose here?
Yeah, basically you are here to get field experience. Uh,
Ah, field experience. Okay.
Yeah, ideally you will be sent out in the field to protect scientific expeditions out there in the wilderness, and maybe get into combat with some examples of megafauna, so like very large animals, dinosaurs and whatnot.
Okay. Okay. I think I get the idea here. Okay. I'm good now.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask something. Earlier you said we're gonna go on a field experience with no risk of dying, right? What is this again? Like, what is this situation we're going into where we can get actual field experience without risking our lives and equipment?
Other if I should maybe word it differently. It's like this balance that they are not gonna throw you into a meat grinder, so they are not gonna throw you against like a very dangerous situation without backup.
Okay.
Like if a combat will happen, they will try to make it in a controlled environment. That's the better word to use.
Alright. Got it.
However, so far your characters mostly they were getting acclimatized, like they were getting socialized with the rest of the base. They had some basic, not experiments, basic like medical checkups conducted on them, some basic attunement with the mechs, so just like your machines. And it was so far pretty boring, mostly because due to some red tape problems, logistical issues, and meta-dimensional storms. The rest of your squad has a rather significant delay. and the rest of the mechanized platoon, rather the equipment, the mechs themselves, will be arriving according to what your overseer, your commander, is saying, in like 2 to 3 days. And to explain what the meta dimension is, basically it's a place, rather dimension, that the Terran Mandate humanity is using as a FTL method of travel. Or actually, it's, when you consider it to other FTL, it's slightly slower. But it's basically a way that humanity is able to travel through the stars. They just I think a good analogy would be like, you can imagine meta dimension as a very, very large collection of roads, paths, rivers that can constantly change, and they are acting as a shortcuts between one location and another. But those are just mechanics. So I don't know, have any of you played Warhammer 40k? Like, do you know Warhammer?
I do know it, I've heard of it, but I've never played it and never read it.
Same. I only know it exists.
I was basically going to say that the meta dimension is kinda like the warp from Warhammer, but without hordes of demons. Kinda similar idea. But yeah. Anyways, any other questions up until this point?
Does our characters know each other since we both graduated from the academy?
Yes, I think that's the better idea, that your characters like know one another.
Okay.
So I'm gonna edit one thing. So Drake, you took CQC mech. Alright, so okay, so speaking about your characters, well, you can certainly, if you have ideas at this point in time, like say what's your name, like how do you look, what's your character, essentially like basic fluff stuff about like your pilots.
Okay, so for my pilot, I'm gonna use the CQC mech. For the details of the description of my character is, wait, I'm gonna post it in Roll20. Something like that. Her name is, wait, so I'm gonna type it. Hyejin. With full name of.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Right. I'm gonna edit the name
And-
in, so that should be right now. Your character handout should you should see that it's now named.
Yeah, I see it.
And technically, give me a moment because I have some technical issues. No, now it works.
For background and homeworld, I don't think I had to read it more, so
Yeah, I mean
Yes, thing I got.
if you want you can ignore that element because like from where like in normal campaigns it sometimes has what's the word uh, it might matter because you want like different planets have different like situations, so sometimes it matters. But here it's like, I mean, if you want you can be from Earth, you can be from Titan, like basically any planet from our solar system that were colonized, or we can just like leave it because as I said this probably won't be uh, important in the game
Yeah,
itself
I'm
at
just
least.
gonna I'm just gonna empty keep it empty for now because
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm hungry.
You can always be also like to mention what are the other possibilities if you were ever playing another Stars Without Number game. It's also possible to be voidborn, essentially to be born in space when your ship was traveling, or maybe in a space station. So that's also an
Oh
opportunity.
wow. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, well, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
keep that in
as I said, it's fine.
mind if I
Uh,
play this again.
Also, not technical stuff. If you want to, there is a way to like add a picture to the character sheet itself. Because if you open the handout, the character handout, in the top right corner of it, you should see edit icon, and if you
Oh
click
yeah,
it, then
I currently
then to the left there's like avatar, and it says that you basically can upload a picture that will resemble that will basically show your character. Oh, exactly like that. Okay. Yeah, so we have her looks pretty uh, like nailed down. Her name. What about her attitude, character? Because as I mentioned, like for example, in regards to CQC mech, it won't make much sense to play a coward when basically your purpose is to like get to into the face of the enemy and like slash him.
yeah. Yes. So for Hyejin is basically is a pretty blunt woman. She hates hitting around the bush. Like just want to get things over with. Try to get into the main source of a problem if there's one. She is very straightforward. If she don't know, she will say don't know. She'll say yes. She will say yes. It's basically what's the word? Mm, like she looks pissed off all the time, but it's just like her normal face. Oh, resting bitch face, something like
Oh,
that. Yeah, she got that. Oh wow, what the hell is that? Okay, she got resting bitch face, very blunt, and then she's not like what's the word brave type, but she is more like action first, think later, because she always like, come on, time is moving, come on, chop chop, we must fast, something like that.
okay, I dig that. So that definitely works uh, for her. But at least for this character. These. Go ahead.
Yes.
I thought you wanted to say something. Essentially, you also are playing psionic, but don't worry if like there will be during like combat and stuff, I will be like helping out with like what powers might be useful. Because at the character page, like at the lower part, you have psychic techniques that are available to you
Oh, like
as a psychic.
oracle, kinetic, something like that.
Yeah, essentially you have access to precognition, so basically like seeing the future, at least to a certain extent, and
Ah,
and you have telekinesis, which means like
okay. Well,
manipulating objects.
okay, okay.
And your mech also like uses some of the essentially you have precognition and telekinesis because your mech also uses those two disciplines, so you benefit from that.
Okay.
But as I said, we're probably gonna get to like combat. Oh, so I probably should edit name if I see that correctly, because I thought it's like one, but okay. I think also one more question. Like you don't have to, like you can think about it like during the game. But basic question about your mech. Mainly like, do you named your mech, and like, do you have like any specific like look about it, like any specific color?
If I may know first, is the CQC mech have some distinct look because there's heavy artillery and heavy C. I was thinking like CQC size CQC mech may be like a little bit slimmer.
Yes, definitely.
Uh,
Its class is light, so it's definitely slimmer and thinner than the heavy mechs because it needs to move fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, for Hyejin mech is like the other CQC mech. It's slim and sleek, but for Hyejin, she got it what's the word, a little bit customized, and she named it Lotus. And then the customized thing is the color of it. The color is like, oh, what's going on?
Uh,
Oh yes, lotus.
okay.
It called lotus. It colored white. So the other what's the word? The other apprentice at the academy kind of a little bit like, why you choose white? It makes you harder to blend with the nature, something like that. And then yeah, well, Hyejin is as stubborn as she is, just want to make it white. So something like that. It's just like practically, if there is something that, what's the word, uh if there is something hiding from me, I want them to know that I'm coming, so I'm just make it my mech white as possible. That's why it's called lotus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm digging that. It's a nice idea.
So yeah, that's basically it for me, I think. If there's something that I need to fill, I don't know about the background though. I see it in the character sheet. There's background, but I think our background is just like we are from the academy.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Like in usually like in normal campaigns, like as a part of character creation, you are also picking your backgrounds. So like who you were, if you are like a soldier, a pilot, like noble, and so on and so forth. But here, because your PCs are partially pre-generated, yeah, don't worry about the background stuff.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right, and it's like even if we forget about something, it still might come out during the game, and we can still like talk about it and just answer
Yeah.
some questions, so it's not an issue. Okay.
Okie
Okay. Flying jet ski. What's your character's name? And what? How does he look like? What's his character like? As in attitude, and yeah. Go ahead.
First of all, is it okay if I don't have a portrait because I didn't prepare that?
If you don't have what?
A portrait. A character portrait. An avatar.
It's fine. It's fine. You don't have to have one.
You can describe it.
So my character name will be Zag Spaldia. I filled it in the character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So this character has green hair and it looks pretty cold. He's more of the calculating type since he's a sniper. He would not hesitate to let the enemy get nearer to his enemies or risk uh, his allies' safety just for the sake of getting a clear shot. But at the same time, he also understands that allies are important, so he wouldn't just randomly throw away their lives. It's more like he would let the enemy harm them, but uh, but would not let the enemy kill them. So there's that line between being cold and not letting the enemy kill his ally.
Oh. We're a bunch of cold people. Cold looking people. Oh boy.
And then for species, I think it's fine if I just put in human for that, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Like basically, you can like play like humans. Although if you wanted, you don't have to play fully baseline humans. As in, if you wanted to play someone that was slightly genetically altered, and for example, it's a weird example, but if he gave himself like cat ears or something like that, that's also an option.
Nah, for now, I'll just go with the standard human. He does not name his mech because he thinks it's irrelevant. The mech is also colored. It's between a green and a dirt brown, so it's kind of like a camo color, just so it can blend in with the woods if there are some, and with the ground.
Yeah, basically your mech. Basically at the like when you open your character sheet, you have character, drones, mech. So if you go to mech section, like basically the sniper mech has active camo surface. So basically, apart from the painting, you also have chromatic paneling and hollow projectors that are placed across the surface, which basically means that it's easier for you to blend in, and it's very hard for the enemy to like notice you, especially if you have like a good shooting position.
Okay. Regardless, I think the color will stay because my character. It's okay. I'm just explaining more to describe my character. He's gonna think that over relying on the technology would be fatal, so he's going for utmost safety, and so even the basic painting will be uh, camouflage.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay. Okay. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. Basically, one small technical detail, you change your name of the handout of your character, but you can also, if you want to, you can change the name of, like, display name. In the top right corner, when you go to my settings, the gear icon, you can also change display. Oh, you have it. Cool.
Got it. Right.
Okay. Alright, so the session proper, where we find your characters, is at the one of the hangar base, basically the main bay where your mechs are being held, supervised, basically the main resupply diagnostic station, like the center for your mechs. You can be in your machines, you can be just going around. Essentially, what is happening is that your overseer, one Heinrich von Adler, which is over 50 years old German former pilot. He's very well built. He's quite massive. He has visible scar on his face.
Basically, Reinhardt.
Yes, as I described, as I even said, that basically that's his visual reference, visual character. He's there. You also have one Akari Yamada, which is the chief scientist of the this colony. And what is basically happening is that during your training here, like acquiring field experience, the High Command also wants to test out some new inventions, and basically they are currently installing additional software. Yeah, software, not hardware. And basically they are calling this tactical support program, and basically a program that is aimed to help you have better awareness about what is going on, basically be better pilots in the field. And they named it Apex, from Apex Predator. So yeah, you have Heinrich, Karayamada, and a couple of basic staff members that are currently doing their task to install stuff out and whatnot. So if you want to do something in the meantime, maybe talk with someone or talk with one another, the floor is yours. And also, if you want more information or just want to ask about something, always feel free to ask.
I guess I want to know, what are we fighting against and why?
Currently you have no active enemy, as in organized enemy.
We're just waiting for orders. We're fresh blood here. I hope our senior didn't being teasing us too much. Oh, but about the chain of command here, Can I for bond purpose? Can I like uh be one of them? What's the word? Uh, Not sibling. What is the much farther than sibling?
Uh,
Cousin.
cousin?
And if cousin, yes. Like uh Hyejin is a CQC specialist. Hyejin is a CQC pilot. So she was like inspired to have that job is because of what's the word? She's a cousin of Chui Fei.
Okay. Sadly, I'm not exactly sure about the naming conventions, so I'm not sure if I should change something with the name of the NPC or.
No, it's still possible. It's okay. It's still possible. Korean and Chinese is basically what's the word? Neighboring country. If there's still Chinese and Korean, and it can be like what's the word? In East Asian, there's like branch family and then there's main family. The main family usually use their native language. The branch usually use their what's the word? Their husband. So I am from the branch family. Chui Fei can be the main family. That's why Chui Fei still have Chinese name.
Okay.
And Korean name can be translated to Chinese name. So it's okay. It's okay. There's no what's the word? There's nothing to change.
Okay, cool. And yeah, speaking about like countries, technically as I was describing, basically on Earth there's like one unified government which is called the Terran Mandate, but various cultures, ancestries like still remain, which is why, as I described, Heinrich basically he is of German ancestry descent. So
Doki.
so that's fine. Yeah, that's completely fine. I mean, if you want, the Joyfei may swing. No, actually, sorry. She's currently not present because she's part of the section Dagger, which is part of your overall platoon, and they are sometimes being used to supervise or rather like escort, provide basic security for the scientists that are doing the like close expeditions, but she'll be coming home as into colony or to settlement soon enough.
Yeah, sure. It's okay. It's just like for what's the word? Flavor text. Why Hyejin choose CQC pilot? She want to be like prove herself to the main branch of the family that the branch family is still there. Something like that. It's Asian things usually.
It's I am completely fine and cool with that, and mostly because I asked because I'm sadly pretty ignorant about the intricate details of Asian cultures. I just wanted to. It's. I thought it was just better to ask. Um, okay, basically, if you are nearby, you can hear that Heinrich is. And my apologies. I mean, as you probably can hear, I already. Sadly, I am Polish, so I have kind of have this like Polish accent to everything I say. But sadly, I cannot do like convincing accents of other languages. So, but you can imagine that Heinrich speaks with like German accent, for example. So yes, Heinrich is speaking with pink-haired chief of scientists, which is Akari Yamada, and if you are listening in, basically he's mostly talking about stuff like Herr Doctor, how sure you are that this will increase the effectiveness of our pilots? To which Akari, that's very eccentric, very like boastful, like she's very loud, happy, especially when she has a chance to play with her toys, because that's how essentially she sees your mechs. And this is also why Heinrich barely tolerates her. Oh, don't worry, you big German doofus. This will be excellent. Believe me, this will really help them a lot. We'll fine-tune this, and who knows what this Apex thing will evolve to the future. And basically, their discussion goes on like around these topics. So yeah, are you joining into the discussion, or are you talking about yourselves, or are you spending time in silence, just doing your whatever task pilot slash soldier can do when he's technically on duty but not on active deployment?
What's our relationship with Heinrich and Akari? Are we friendly or do we not know each other?
Heinrich is definitely friendly because he sees himself as a mentor to the future generations of pilots. So he is very much, no matter how you like react to him, but it is very clear that he wants the best for you. Like, he really wants for you to be the best pilots, because if you are the best pilots possible, then you will survive, and that's what matters to him. So I imagine that he can be pretty strict when it comes to actual training, because if you slack off, that might kill you, and that is not acceptable to him. But I would say that outside of combat, and when you like want to talk, like, he can be pretty not formal. Like, he can give this grandfatherly vibe, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
While Akari, you know who she is. You know that Heinrich he barely tolerates her. But you didn't have much opportunity to like get to know her and like talk to her about stuff. And you also know that she's a chain smoker. She basically, even now when she's working on like your mechs, installing the software, she's like, you know, doing one smoke, then finishing that one, and then after a while picking another.
In that case, I think Zag will not join the conversation.
Hmm, for me, I will try to. I'm gonna listen first. I want to join, but I need to know the what's the word. Mm, what option we do have here to to do stuff.
mean, you can always ask, because mostly as you are listening, it's mainly Heinrich that's basically wondering how much longer this technical stuff that Akari is doing will take. She's constantly getting distracted and being marveling at how many great things she will be able to do with your mechs, how she'll be able to improve them. And
Can I ask Henrik then?
yes, sure.
Hyun like approach Henry like, sir, what should we do now then? Is there anything that we can do?
Sorry, I also need to ask if you responded to Miss. He should say that Miss Spark or Miss Hyejin. Like what is more
Spark.
proper? Oh, okay. There's a glint of like smile in his eyes, and he has this like grandfather smile as he turns to you. Fräulein Pork, I see that you are quite eager to, and yeah, his voice is also like sounding older, but as I said, I'm really not a good voice actor.
It's okay.
I understand that you are quite eager to test your metal, yeah?
If it's okay to do, like, yes. But if we have a chance to do it, why not we try our mech? It's already been made by how do I say, not madam Amada sounds weird.
Scientist Amada, Chief Scientist Amada.
Amada.
You can basically call her by
Amada.
her title.
Okay. It already been made by Chief Scientist Amada, so why not we try to use it?
Yes, that's that will be able in, and he glances at her doctor. He considers asking her, but then he sighs, looks back at you with like a little bit wary smile. I believe it will be a couple more, maybe half an hour before they finish the tests and installation of this new software. And I also believe the rest of our platoon, this section's shield is also getting quite restless, I must say. So don't worry, we'll be getting out in the field soon enough.
I see. I hope it's not too much to ask for, Sir Henry. Pardon for my intrusion. Thank you very much. Then,
It's absolutely no problem, Fräulein Park. You know, and I hope that Freund Zach also knows this, that I'm always here for you if you want to ask me about anything.
Yes, sir.
You can see like scratching her chin and then bow to Sir Henry and then like thank you very much. So and then go back to other room. I don't know the room. Sorry.
Wait, did we go into Akari's lab? I'm assuming with Heinrich.
No. Essentially, this is like a mech bay. So it's like a pretty large hangar where your mechs are currently stationed. And she's
Yeah.
doing she's basically working there, and you are there. Heinrich is there, Akari is there, and also a couple other staff members, engineers and scientists that are just like going around and doing their stuff.
Did we go here together with Heinrich, or did we just stumble upon Heinrich and Akari having a conversation?
Um. Huh.
Is he gonna bring us anywhere after this?
I mean, I'm fine with both options, really. Perhaps you were, just to throw as an option, as an example, perhaps you were curious what they were doing because you might have spotted that like the local engineers and scientists are doing something to your basically committing like maintenance to your mechs.
Okay, in that case, I'll wait until Heinrich stops talking to Akari.
Okay, yeah, at some point after he's stopped talking with Park Hyejin, he basically doesn't have enough strength to bother with Akari, so he's like still around, but he made himself a cup of hot chocolate. So maybe he's standing next to a dispenser. So you might like approach him and talk to him.
Okay. Zach takes another cup and fills in chocolate beside Heinrich and asks him, Sir, I couldn't help but hear that you're asking Chief Scientist Akari about the improvement of something she's developing. Can I ask what's the specifics of it? I didn't really want to ask in front of her because I assumed that she would be too excited to explain too much.
If of course, Freund Zach. The thing is that I can definitely answer your inquiry, but if I may ask first, how do you feel about your mech? Do you feel that it's adequate? That it has no room for improvement left? That it's a fine weapon for the Terran mandate?
I wouldn't be too sure, sir. I've never had any real field experience, but I'm sure there could be improvements, but the current one is adequate as it is, as it has been improved over many experiences by our comrades.
And he like scratches his chin. To be perfectly honest, I was never really the egghead myself, and Miss her